So today we're dealing with a zwilling knife. This knife's been, call it, sharpened on a pull-through sharpener once or twice, and it has significant damage to the edge. The tip is also nicely rounded over. So you can see me here starting to set the bevels and remove the damage on a cubitron 80 grit. I'm using a little guide on the side there. It's a paint stick that I've screwed in, and I measure the angle with an angle guide. Got it set to 15 degrees at the moment. You can also see that I come in with the knife at an angle to the belt. This is to avoid hitting the handle on the edge of the belt. When doing this, you've got to make sure that you get the knife down flat on the platen. You don't want to dig into the heel and make it come up, and you also don't want to hollow out a section and ruin the profile. So you want to get it flat on the platen at an angle. So there you can see it's still taking stuff off. It's a lot of material that has to be removed on this knife. As we're going, we are already well into apex on most of the edge and creating an enormous burr, which we will remove in a little while. So here I'm just taking note of the tip. I don't want to grind it up endlessly into thicker metal, so I will try and match the existing shape of the spine of the knife and bring the spine down to the point. This just keeps the cutting performance at the tip a little bit better. So now we're finished with the major grinding, and we are moving on to a cubitron 120. Not much work to be done here. Mainly we are just going to sort of refine the scratch pattern, try and reduce the burr just a little bit. I'm also going to cut in a secondary bevel, probably around about 5 degrees, I'd say. This just to get the performance of the knife back up to what it should be. What you saw me do there was just check the profile of the knife to make sure that it actually rocks nicely. There's no flat spots or hollow sections. There weren't, so I'm carrying on. So the first pass is refining the scratch pattern, making sure we've got an even bevel all around, bevel and burr. And now I'm just doing very light strokes, trying to reduce that burr just a little bit. It was massive. I must have pulled the edge back about 0.5 millimeter. And I think it's one more pass. No, so here we're just smoothing out the grind on the back, rounding over the spine just a little bit to make it a little bit more comfortable and aesthetically pleasing. And now we're coming in at a low angle, creating that secondary bevel. Nice and slow, light pressure on the slack belt. Checking with every pass, making sure you're getting it to the heel and to the tip without rounding anything up. Again, nice and slow. Checking the work again. And now we are going to replace a belt with a Trizact A30, which is approximately a 600 grit belt. I will again refine the scratch pattern on the primary bevel, but I'll also polish the secondary bevel that I've created and round over the spine nicely. The reason I smooth out the secondary bevel is so that you don't feel the roughness of the 120 grit when you're cutting, and you do feel it. So it's better for the food, it doesn't tear it, and it's better aesthetically as well. This is a very quick process. I'm doing the low bevel now. And now primary bevel, very light pressure, refining the scratch pattern. Nicely to the tip. It's a good idea to try and stop just before you get to the tip. In that way you will get the tip without rounding it up. There's still quite a big burr on there, so again, very light pressure on the second pass, hoping to just reduce that burr a little bit. So I've moved the camera around now. On a half-speed grinder, I've got a homemade cardboard wheel. I've just put some green compound on there. The idea here is to slightly polish the edge and remove the burr. This technique and this compound, this cardboard, tend to leave the edge nice and smooth, yet still fairly toothy. So it gives a very, very nice performing edge. This step will take most of the burr off, but not all of it. There's one more step coming after this, which will remove the burr completely. Okay, so now on to the final machining step. This is a felt belt that I'm putting on here. There's no compound on it. It does have a little bit of residual compound though from the compound before, but nothing to really speak of. This belt does a really good job of removing that final little bit of the burr. It's just a couple of strokes in each direction. And this is how I sharpen my knives professionally, and it gives a really, really good result. This is edge trailing sharpening on a 1x30. And here we go for a paper cut test. I'm sorry I kind of missed the screen a little bit, but there's battery smooth. Checking the tip goes straight through, and it will easily cut through the side of the paper. And that is it. A nice sharp knife. Next is just washing, quick hand strop on leather, and that's it, ready to go.